Hi, I'm Lynn Morgan, your slipper-shod pastor. What's the best part of the sermon? Yep, the end, absolutely. And often, for those of you who've stayed awake to the ends of sermons, you will hear kind of a charge to the congregation, an exhortation to do this sort of thing or to avoid doing that other sort of thing. And the result will be, the kind of flourishing, abundant life that God promises. That technique of concluding the sermon with a charge to the people hearing it to do this or not to do that is called a peroration. And Paul used them like crazy in his letters. And often, unfortunately, perorations come off as kind of laundry lists of good things and bad things to be enshrined in one's life and bad things to be avoided. And like any list, it's easy to kind of tune out in the midst of the telling. Today, we are reading in the daily lectionary from the end of 1 Peter, and that epistle also ends with kind of a peroration. And at first, it seems like there's a juxtaposition of things that don't really fit with each other. I'm going to read you just a few verses from the conclusion of Peter's letter to the churches. In verse 5, he says, God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God, so that he may exalt you in due time. Cast all your anxiety on him, because he cares for you. He goes on from there. And at first blush, it seems that humbling oneself and casting anxiety upon God are just the kind of unrelated laundry list items that you'd expect to find in a peroration. But the more that I think about it, the more that I think those two are pretty intimately connected. Some of us are anxious people, and the worst of our anxiety is a kind of grandiosity. It's a worrying about things over which we realistically have no control. But we imagine somehow that our worrying makes a difference. We inflate our importance, our ability to make a leveraged difference in the world. And so it's good for us to be humble, to recognize that we are not masters of the universe. We are often not even masters of our own fate. And so often our anxiety is not over things that are under our control, but they are things that are in God's hands. And so it makes perfect sense for us to be humble and to cast our worries into the hands of the one who is in charge of the universe and who has care for our lives. And so my peroration to you today is, be humble, accept your limitations, and pass on your worries to the one who is capable of taking care of all of us. And here's the best part. Amen.